Ridiculous questions.
Meticulously debated.
This is Tell Me I'm Wrong.
Well, I was happy just last night. I've been losing sight, sighting all the falling fights. What is this if this ain't right? Back again, the monster rights. Losing life until that night. Life never let him lie. Light is mine, my past is right.
And welcome to Tell Me I'm Wrong. I am your moderator today, Josh Ballard.
Hey everybody, I'm Ryan. Even though this is our fourth attempt at this, I am still Ryan.
Hi, my name is Joseph, and welcome to Tell Me I'm Wrong.
Well, typically I would start out every episode by asking how you guys are doing, but we all know that we are all doing bad.
Yeah, you would think that after, pretty recently just hit our 1 year mark of podcasting, this was probably our second worst start of an episode behind our very first episode.
No, we had that one episode where it was like 10 episodes in, and it took me like 45 minutes to get on Zoom.
Well, but this is like actually the recording part. That was just technology holding us back. This is us holding ourselves back.
Well, more specifically, Joe holding us all back.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's
always
Joe.
me. Like, I don't deny that.
See, and he's messing with his microphone again. I know the listeners can't see this, but he is fumbling around with his microphone, which caused one of our mini restarts here. And Joe,
if we ever do a meetup where we are using mics, or you guys get to see us at a live show, maybe the audience will finally understand how often Joe touches his mic. And for anybody who records anything on a regular basis, touching your mic is not a great technique.
No, Joe records a podcast like he's in a 70s hair metal band, like
coked out.
Yeah, that was what we meant.
That's not what I meant then, if that's not what you all meant.
Oh, okay. Well, beyond that, just to compound my stress is Joe screwing up the start of the podcast, but also I'm planning a wedding right now. And let me tell you something.
Yeah, how's that going?
No, hold on. I'm going to need you to shut up because I got some things to say to these people. Okay, look. Last week we talked about funerals. This week we're talking about weddings. I think, personally, in my opinion, two of the most ridiculous events that we do on Earth, because there's
like a movie based on that, isn't there? Like three weddings,
yeah, like
and
two
funeral?
weddings and a funeral. I don't know. Haven't seen it, but regardless of that, that's kind of weird. In my life, I'll have two weddings and a funeral. Bizarre. Anyways, so
is that the title of your biography? Autobiography?
Yeah, two weddings and a funeral. But here's what I'm getting at is that I think it's weird in this world that we choose for two of the biggest events of our lives to wear uncomfortable clothes and cry in front of strangers. I just think it's the dumbest thing that we do, because you got to put on a suit. You got to go to either a funeral home or a wedding venue, which sometimes look the same. And then you got to
that's true.
Make small talk. You got to cry. You got to walk up to the couple or the dead body and be like, hey, love you, and then you gotta walk away, and it's just like, so
you feel like the conversation that you have with a couple at a wedding is most comparable to when you walk up to a casket and are saying your final goodbyes.
Yeah,
to me they're basically the same, because you always have to go shake the couple's hand, and for some reason, I don't know why.
What are you doing at visitations, Joe?
I was gonna say, I think we might need to keep Joe out of funerals.
I don't know why, but growing up, every time I went to a visitation, my grandma would always be like, go ahead and touch his hand. And I'm like, why? And she would always want me to touch the dead body's hand. And so eventually I would just give in and touch it, be like, there, I touched it. She's like, it's okay if you want to touch it. I was like, I don't. I don't want to touch it.
What's up with your grandma?
She's a sweet lady. Okay.
Wow.
That's not the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. I've been to some where, folks are kissing on the body. And,
oh, man, I can't handle that.
That's like the one thing you can do at a funeral that is frowned upon at a wedding. You can't just walk up to the couple and start kissing on them.
Some weddings you can, I think.
I was gonna say, it could be a fun wedding if it was that way.
That's true. It would be a lot more interesting.
Both of them, you have to be quiet, too, in the ceremony, which is weird to me. I just hate sitting there at weddings. Like I remember when I got married, I was just like, we were talking about the ceremony and I was like, I don't care. No one cares. No one cares about the ceremony.
Exactly.
No one
exactly.
cares.
Here's the thing.
I would say, I think we found the nugget.
Everyone's waiting for food.
Yeah. So the thing about this is, and what you realize about weddings is that like we've attended a million of them, right? Listen, couples that are planning their wedding, make the ceremony short and sweet. Rule number 1. Nobody cares about you as much as you think they do, and they don't want to hear your 18-hour vows. I had to sit through a wedding one time where they literally did handwritten vows for almost an hour. It was
an hour?
The worst thing I've ever seen.
I will say, we did pretty long vows, but it was not that long. Like, it was just longer than your average.
I went to a wedding. So, fun story about my dad, who we've talked about in this podcast quite a bit. We went to a wedding once, and it was long, and it was one of those churches. It was at a church where there's like 2 small pews on the outside and then 1 big pew in the middle.
Yep.
Which if you get trapped in that middle pew, it's death.
Also, scooting across those things is a abdominal feat.
Yes. But so we're sitting there in the middle of the ceremony, and it was long. It was probably an hour, and I'm checked out. We're midway through, and I get this tap on my shoulder, and I look, and like my dad's like motioning me with his head, like, lean over here. And I lean over, and he goes, I think I just sharted.
Oh my gosh.
And then just like sits back up straight, looks straight ahead like nothing ever happened. And my first thought was like, go to the bathroom, dude. You got crap in your pants. Like, you're going to sit here with this in your pants? So later on in the ceremony, I like catch up with him and I'm like, hey, did you like go to the bathroom? He's like, nah, it was a false alarm. I was like, so you just farted in the middle of this wedding ceremony?
I guess it was a silent one. Those are usually more dangerous.
Good thing he never listens to this show.
He listened to half an episode about him.
He tried his best. Now, beyond that, have a short ceremony, get through it, and then when you get to the reception, don't take a million photos beforehand. Don't do anything weird. Just serve some food and dance.
I think the photos in between ceremony and reception are the cardinal sin. If you need to do a few with like family or whatever that weren't there beforehand, sure. But if you take an hour and a half or longer and you're doing photos before I get to eat or get the hors d'oeuvres or anything like that, then I'm already not having fun at your wedding.
All you're going to make me do if you have a free bar is just go up and drink as much of the most expensive item you have. If you do that to me, I'm like, what's your most expensive bourbon? I will take that. Because you deserve to be penalized for that. Listen, people out there who are getting married, Josh, it's really great that you think it's bad luck to see the bride. That is utter and complete bullshit. It doesn't.
Oh, don't bring me into this. We're not doing that.
That's the stupidest thing. If you first off, if you believe in luck, you're stupid. There is no luck.
And if you're relying on luck to keep your marriage together, I got bad news for you.
Ryan found the ultimate secret to keeping a marriage together, which is being with a partner that doesn't exist. So he is the expert.
Don't have an extant wife.
He just gets to go make out in theaters with whoever he wants, and it's okay. But take your pictures beforehand. It won't change anything. Believe me, I promise.
That's what we did.
So
everybody needs to embrace the first look.
When I see it, I wish I could give my wedding gift post-wedding. And your gift to me would devalue on how good your wedding and ceremony was. So if your wedding ceremony is great and I'm giving you a cash gift, I'm going to be willing to give you more cash. But you ever heard of the thing where like you go out to dinner and like it's like a jerk thing to do and you put a stack of money on the end of your table and your waiter and it's like, this is your tip.
Yeah. And you just keep taking stuff away.
That's what the wedding reception should be with a gift.
I think what we're doing here is just a service to the whole industry. And that is we are coming up with some brand new traditions that need to be brought into the wedding world.
That's a debate later on. Wedding traditions that should die and wedding traditions that should be created.
We've already got our start going.
Josh, we are writing your wedding as we speak.
Exactly. I got both a wedding and funeral tradition that also needs to die, which is stop charging me $1 billion to do anything.
I was going to say, I knew it was coming.
The best part is when Rachel and I went to go look for venues, we went to a church in Lexington and asked them how much it'd be. And they told us it would cost $1,000 to get married at their church. And I was like,
but that's a bargain.
I was going to say,
let me tell you what
I've ever
hold
heard.
on. Let me tell you what they're doing out there today. There are places they are renting barns without air conditioning or heat for $5,000. And then they're like, oh, you want some canapes to feed to your guests while they wait on you to take your stupid pictures? Well, how about this? It's $25 for a little piece of bread with some bruschetta on it. Like, eat shit and die.
But yeah, weddings are stupid. I hate them. Like, get eloped,
I
people.
love weddings.
No.
We actually, one of the reasons that, as everybody knows, I am #sensitive boy on this podcast. But one of the reasons that we did the first look, which one, saved time because we didn't want people waiting for food and stuff. We understood. But also because
were you trying to make sure your wife existed? Before that,
but also because I didn't want to be, crying seeing my wife on our wedding day while she's walking down the aisle. I needed to have that moment beforehand.
So I thought I was gonna cry when I saw Rachel, and I was like, I don't want to do this. But the two, Bo McMillan, friend of the podcast, actually he was an usher and he was pulling the runner, and they broke the runner. And it ended up going in between pews, basically, as they were walking down the aisle. And so there's a picture of me and all my groomsmen are just hysterically laughing up on stage as they're literally on their knees rolling this roll of vinyl paper down the aisle. It was hilarious.
Oh, they broke like the cord that you hold?
And the pole that goes inside of it just snapped off.
They're looking like the like field crew at a rain delay at a baseball game.
Exactly. In like shirts and ties. And it was hilarious. They kept blaming each other and fighting. It was great.
Fantastic. Well, my blood pressure is already up to like, I don't know what blood pressures are or what's a good blood pressure, but it's high.
Josh, I offered to let you get married in my backyard. Literally free.
Listen, it's not me. She's not going to hear this until this episode comes out, and she won't listen to it until like 3 weeks later. It's all her. I want to run away. I just want to run away and get married. It's her.
Listen,
she's spending my money.
You got to celebrate.
No, you don't.
It's the biggest decision.
Celebrate your life by buying a house and having money and not having debt, and stupid weddings are not a good way to celebrate.
I agree. Okay. Well, that brings us to finally after all that brings us to this week's topic.
Night. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Josh's debate for the week is just him. I just had to air some grievances on the podcast, but we're good now. Anyways, what we were going to talk about this week is I need some help. Everything is too expensive with these weddings, and I need a budget solution. And so I figured what better place to turn than people who already know how to do food, already know how to do service, and already have large enough spaces to host a wedding. And that is North American chain restaurants. I'm talking your Applebee's, unfortunately, your TGI Fridays, your
O'Charlie's.
What's an O'Charlie's?
Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse is a good one.
Any chain that is readily available across this country that we all know and love. And I just need you to tell me which one would be the best one for me to pick, because I am like seconds away from calling one of these folks and just being like, listen, can you do me a solid? And I feel like they will.
The way that 2021 has gone, with Joe and I really dominating you on every debate, I feel like we're going to be able to convince you to end up at one of these restaurants.
I'm not far from it. I like this.
Just have Erica listen to this episode, in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And when that happens, then bam, it's over.
So what I asked the guys to do is I asked them to pick a chain restaurant where I can host my ceremony, my reception, the whole shebang. Like, where can I get married that's going to be the perfect place for us to have a party? And so, gentlemen, I want you to just start out by introing your pick and telling me where you think I should get married. And then I've got a host of questions to ask you, because just like any good planner of a big event, I got to know the specifics. So let's go. Ryan, why don't you kick us off and tell us a little bit about
I had a feeling
where I
you
should
were
get
going to go
married?
with me first. I just had that feeling. All right. Well, Josh asked us to do some history on the restaurant, but I got busy and did not look up the history. So all of my notes are based off of feel and exactly just with the gut feeling that I knew that Cracker Barrel was going to be the best place for you to have a wedding and a reception. And I have many, many reasons.
I have a few thoughts on what those reasons are. Joe?
First thought, the one that just came to me was I should have picked Hooters, but I didn't.
Why?
The amount of memories you would have for the rest of your life, and your wedding would literally be talked about by everyone for the remainder of your lifetime.
Well, hopefully that's the goal either way.
Of your friends' weddings, can you tell me anything specific about them? No. Because it's like we went.
I didn't get invited to either of your weddings because I barely knew you all when you got married. So.
Truth.
I didn't know you at all. Didn't know you existed.
So Hooters would have been a good choice. The selling of Erica on Hooters would have been great, but man, the memories. I decided that I would go with one of Josh's favorite international airport haunts, and that's Chili's.
Okay, this is a good.
Is it
good
Chili's
one,
or is it Chili's to go?
Well, it's owned by Chili's corporate. Chili's to go would be a subsidiary of Chili's Incorporated. And I will want to say, I did look up history, and I just want to let you all know that if I lose my job because of this podcast, I'm going to expect both of you all to support me financially to get me through till I find my next job. Because when I looked up the history, I didn't realize it, but it was actually on chilisjobs.com. So I was searching for employment stuff while I was at work. I didn't even know I was doing it till after I was over. And I was like, well,
listen,
shit.
If they're looking that closely at your computer history, you're already screwed anyway.
That's true. So, I'm going with Chili's.
Okay, so we got two good options here. Cracker Barrel, which, deeply involved in my romantic history with my beloved Erica, which I'm certain will finally come up on this episode, unfortunately. And Chili's, which I can't recall if I talked about on this or another show we were on. Who knows? We've talked on all sorts of different people's things. I don't know what I said this on. But the Chili's 2 in the Chicago O'Hare Airport is the best restaurant on earth.
We talked about this podcast.
Is the food good? No. Is the atmosphere good? No. Are the drinks good? No. But somehow when you combine all those things together, it is magic.
3 wrongs make a right.
Exactly. So I appreciate both of these choices. Now, I think in order for me to get a better feel for kind of what you're looking at, what you're feeling about these places, I just want you to give me a little bit of info on why you picked them, what you think makes them great for a wedding reception and ceremony, and just kind of a general, give me a vibe check on these places for this party. So Ryan, why don't you tell us about the Rainforest Cafe for Old People, Cracker Barrel?
I still love that analogy every time you say it.
It's true.
Okay, so the list of reasons for choosing Cracker Barrel as your venue honestly are endless. I could have kept going. I had to stop because I got so many reasons. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some points, and then maybe after the break I can just kind of describe the flow of the day like I'm your wedding planner.
I think that'd be great.
Okay. So first of all, whenever you get to a wedding, you're like picking out your seat, and then there's kind of that awkward period where there's not really anything that you're kind of waiting, and then it usually doesn't start on time because there's like something goes wrong, or there's just some sort of small delay. Well, at Cracker Barrel, you have options. You've got rocking chairs outside that are great for facilitating conversation between people. And you could even have a little cocktail area in the store where people can wander around and find their little random accoutrement of the Cracker Barrel.
Little cocktail hour among the goodies.
Yes, exactly. So
and Cracker Barrel serves cocktails now. So
and you get a bunch of people at a rented out Cracker Barrel walking through that store with alcohol, and there are going to be some excellent purchases of which people will indulge during the wedding, and it's going to get rowdy.
Just an apron with Travis Tritt on it that says I'm TROUBLE.
You're going to have the talking frogs, or maybe there's a clearance section with some Christmas apparel depending on time of year. I mean,
a full-on pinball machine made out of like cardboard.
Absolutely. Or just, some marmalade. Who knows? And so that's, I think, great for starting off. Then you also have once you okay, ceremony, I'm going to describe that later, but let's say you get to the meal time and people are starting to sit down and things like that, but you still have that transition of, people are kind of mingling and eating and things like that. Well, you have the peg game. Let's say whoever does, the DJ is announcing whoever, gets the least amount of pegs gets to pick the next song. You got a competition going on. Then you have the round robin checkers that we have going on the checkers rug with the rocking chairs in front of the fireplace. I mean, just endless entertainment. And I have two additional reasons. And then, like I said, I will walk through the ceremony a little bit later. Next, and I think very important, it's a cozy and homey atmosphere. And if you were to describe the vibe that I would choose for a Ballard wedding, I think it would be cozy and homey. Now, the music, I think, is going to be something that we're going to have to negotiate a little bit with Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, of course.
Because I feel like Cracker Barrel is missing out on the hipster vibe. It's only about 3 degrees away from being a full-on hipster restaurant.
Yeah, it's very close.
Because you put a record player down and put some records on the wall instead of all the farm crap, and you are going to be just raking in all the hipsters that want to have their homemade pancakes by a fire listening to Franz Ferdinand.
Okay. Franz Ferdinand is the one you came up with?
It was the first thing right off the dome.
Okay. It's Ryan's favorite band.
Yeah. So
apparently I'm getting married in 2003.
Yes. Well, I mean, when I picture you getting married, I picture 2003. So second thing, sometimes, I don't know if you guys have been to weddings like this, but sometimes you'll be at the ceremony and then they'll announce at the end, okay, here's the reception and it's at this location. You put it in the GPS and it's like 35 miles. And you're like, what the F? I'm not driving 35 miles to go wait another hour while you do pictures and then drive 35 miles. Like, no. Here's the thing about Cracker Barrel.
No one's going to drive 35 miles for a cash bar. I have a perfectly good Applebee's near my house.
If you drive 35 miles and you're not giving me free beer, I'm walking out. Like, I'm done.
And that's just on principle. That has nothing to do with anything else.
Exactly.
If you make me drive 35 miles, I'm just not going.
Yeah, that's also a good point. You're going to lose a lot of people, and you got to keep that. You got to keep that momentum going. And so the thing about Cracker Barrel is, it's always right off the highway. No matter what location, you can get there in 1 minute off the highway every time. So no matter what location you pick, even if you don't have the ceremony at the Cracker Barrel, it's right off the highway. You don't have to drive 35 miles down a country road. It's right there. Final reason. Everybody has a favorite dish at Cracker Barrel, and it's people pleasing. If you don't like Mama's pancake breakfast from Cracker Barrel, you can go to hell.
That's the whole point.
That's it.
Okay, I support that. All right, those are all good points, and I appreciate you not even bringing up my personal history with the Cracker Barrel.
Listen, the emotional ties are there, but I felt like that might be something to bridge if I need it, as a counterpoint later. Yeah. I listen. I told you the list was long.
All right. Those are all very compelling points, and I like where you're going. Now, Joe, you have picked something that is adjacent to my favorite restaurant on earth. So I am interested to see how you're going to compete with the Cracker Barrel. So, Joe, tell me a little bit about this Chili's wedding.
First off, I want to say that my other debater obviously doesn't know the person he's debating for, Josh, because Josh is not letting the DJ letting someone pick a song. I don't care what game or tournament you're playing. There are no requests. He's picked the song list, and if the DJ deviates from it, he will take that hot fire poker from the fireplace and shove it right up his butthole. So
yeah, at my wedding, I'm just going to be walking around with a stack full of bills for the gratuity for the DJ. And if he takes one request, I'm pocketing some money. If he plays one one single line dance. I am lighting my own cash on fire in his face. Neither of us get the money because we lost everything.
I'm bringing a stack of cash to Josh's wedding, and I'm just going to bribe the DJ until we get Cha-Cha
That's what I'm trying to figure out. What do I have to bribe the DJ with to get him to play it?
Me and you are going to bring
at this point
cash and bourbon.
He's already paid the DJ, so the DJ has nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a request paid, and I hope it's the chicken dance. That's my goal, is the chicken dance.
Okay. I have a very, very strict no request policy at my wedding. This is well known among my friends.
It'll be total request live when we're done.
And here's the reason. All of your music taste, everybody, these two guys, everybody, your music taste sucks compared to mine. And I just need to make sure that my wedding has vibes. And if you're going to ruin the vibes.
What have we said about weddings? It has nothing to do with actual people getting married.
Right. It's about entertaining your guests.
Yes. And I am the only person capable of entertaining all of these idiots that are coming to my wedding.
He's like the mad king that's like, you don't know what's good for you. Only I know what's good for you.
Joffrey Baratheon.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, I'm kidding.
I'm like, let them listen to DJ Casper.
Was that your let them eat cake?
Yes.
Because that was pitiful. Anyway.
Whatever.
All right.
Continue.
Chili's.
So, Chili's. When I was looking up the employment history of Chili's in a country of America, they have 3 core values that they try to live by. And I felt like these 3 core values properly exemplified Josh and Erica. Number 1 is love.
Okay. Time out.
Number 1 was love. You got to give him a chance here. He started off strong.
If one of the core values of Chili's is not the Presidente margarita served in a plastic shaker, then this is all for naught. But please continue. I'm sorry. Love is their first core value.
Love. They are passionate about connections and putting others ahead of themselves, which I think would describe Josh and Erica very well.
Good so far.
Inclusion.
Not Chili's, but definitely us.
Inclusion. They believe everyone has value, deserves to be respected and listened to. Josh and Erica.
I like how you say that I'm into inclusion after I just said everybody has poor music taste and they can't participate in my wedding.
You're mostly inclusive in other, but music would be the exception. I think
what the listeners have already learned about you is that you talk a big game and you act like you're all hard ass. But if one of us requested a song, you would be out there dancing with us because you'd be like, okay, guys, we're having fun. It's okay. It's all right. We're having fun.
No, if you play the chicken song at my wedding,
what are you going to do, Josh? We're on a podcast together. What are you going to do?
I think Josh is going to employ a bouncer. And and he's just going to be like pointing at people and be like, get him out.
The bouncer that Josh would employ would be just like Josh, a big dude that looks scary. You should push him a little bit and he'll be like, okay,
I'm going to choke you out with like a meatball on a stick or some other sort of canapé that's being served.
If you serve meatball on a stick, I'll be highly disappointed.
Who puts meatballs on sticks?
Caterers, man. I don't know. What is the third core value?
The third core value is enjoyment. They do take their job seriously, but not themselves, and always want to have fun. So, to me, those 3 values, and you said to look up the history, which I did. Ryan didn't, so that's strike 1 for him already. Those 3 values line up with Josh and Erica perfectly. Number 2, the number reason why I think this would be perfect. Chili's is heavily featured in a show that Josh likes, The Office.
Yes.
They went there multiple times, and as you both know, Chili's is the new golf course. That's where small business happens.
There it is.
Josh himself is in marketing. Josh is in networking. He is at the golf courses. He is small business. So it only makes sense to continue his life at the golf course where small business happens. Okay? Like Josh, this is Michael Scott's favorite restaurant.
And I don't know if this comes up in your notes, but speaking of like, a mixed media in which Chili's is portrayed, it is also a top 10 vine of all time.
That's right.
Hi, welcome to Chili's. Great. Classic.
This is where the Dundies is held. So he has video evidence that they can handle large parties. And we're going to get into that more of how they handle these large parties here in a little bit. And, when it comes to your wedding, that's a sacred, that's a intimate gathering that people are watching for some reason, but it's intimate moment between 2 people as they join together. And why would you not want to start that off with a nice prayer? Because we all know that we can feel God in that Chili's tonight.
We can.
That was a long walk. That was a long walk for that one.
Oddly enough, on that long walk, there was only one set of footprints. That was the best part of that long walk.
Man, are we this show now? Is that what this show has become? 1 year in, and our jokes are gone.
Chili's is a good fit because I feel like it's decorated in a fun, hip, yet redefined look that would parlay wonderfully into the wedding reception.
Do you think it's like that, or is that what Chili's ad copy says it's like?
No, I actually wrote that myself. I think it parlays where it's like it's trying too hard to be decorated.
I think Josh just gave Joe a compliment because he was convinced that was written by Chili's ad copy. So I think Joe could be a Chili's ad writer.
That's right. I just feel like the atmosphere of it, you got your own little sections. You got your booth to the side where your family can go be more intimate and talk. You got the bar where everybody can hang around and have fun. You got a more open seating area. That could be like your dance floor, move the tables. It's set up wonderfully.
All right. So look, both of these are very compelling arguments so far. I was skeptical of both of these choices because they are not Chili's. While Chili's 2 is one of my favorite restaurants, Chili's proper, Cracker Barrel, been there a lot. It's got its own particular vibe. Maybe for me, maybe not. We'll find out. But I want to take a little break here, go to the mod office, and then when we come back, I've got some specific questions for you. And then I want you to kind of pitch me on this like you're my wedding planner. Tell me how the event's going to go. Give me that flow. Let me paint a word picture for me of this beautiful, beautiful ceremony for me and my beloved. But before that, let's we don't have ads, so we're just going to talk for a few minutes. We'll see you there. All right, everybody. So the guys are putting in great work on this debate, but we wanted to just stop here to remind you, as always, to share the show with your friends, promote it, send them your favorite episodes, tell them they need to check it out. We've got 52 of these daggone things. Now, surely there is one you would like, and if you don't, then why are you listening to this? Especially the mod office part where people typically just skip through it. Like, why are you listening to this if you don't like the show? So clearly there is something you can share with your friends. So please do that. Get them to like the show. Follow us on social media. Spread the word. Do all that good stuff. We really appreciate it. It really helps us out. And on top of that, if you are looking to advertise your business, your Etsy shop, I don't know, your Tinder profile, whatever it is, like just hit us up. We'd love to promote it on here during the mod office bits and give you the push that you need. And then lastly, I want to encourage everybody so that I can actually have people at my wedding to go get your frickin' vaccine. Like if you're eligible, the vaccine's out there and you're able to get it, go get it. Just go get it. Like you'll be fine. We all got it. We're still hosting this dumb show. So we're clearly all here. We're still all alive. We're microchipped. It made us less funny, but regardless of that, we're doing great and you will too. So please go get your vaccine so people can actually show up at my wedding and have a good time in either a Cracker Barrel or a Chili's, please. All right, we're going to get back to the debate and figure out which one of these jokers can actually convince me to get married in one of these terrible, terrible restaurants. All right. I have some very specific questions for you all because, as I've said, I want my wedding to have vibes. I want it to be a cool event. I want people to remember it.
Now, is that vibes with a Z?
Ryan, it's vibes with an S. Do you think we're trash?
That's a great drink, by the way.
Thank you, Joe. So I've got some very particular questions that I need to ask because it's important to me. It is important to Erica. And it's something that I think will really set this event off for our guests. So, number one, obviously, I'm handing you over the keys to this event. I'm trusting you to put on the type of event that I would enjoy myself. And so the number one thing on that list is music. So I want you, starting with Ryan, to tell me what kind of music is going to be playing at my reception. What fits in the like restaurant? It's got to like all flow together. We got to have a theme here. So what are you going with, Ryan?
So here's the thing. Josh loves his record room and loves his vinyl. He even proposed using vinyl. If you follow him on Instagram, you know this. So
Josh Ballard 138275. Follow me.
What a jerk.
That's not what it is.
It's just Josh Ballard 13. But anyways, go ahead, Ryan.
So I think I'm going to keep it simple because Cracker Barrel is all about simplicity. They are not a lot of bells and whistles. So I think it's going to be someone who is just simply just keeping the records going. And these records will be hand chosen by Mr. Ballard himself. And they will be chosen in an order that will kind of keep the flow of the night going, and will transition to a more, lively atmosphere as we get later in the evening.
I like that. That is definitely very much up my alley. Now, I do have a specific question about that. Am I limited to the selection they have within the Cracker Barrel, or can I bring my own record?
No, this will be off-site music.
Okay.
I think the vinyls that would be in the Cracker Barrel are probably from the original era of vinyls, and would not be a super good time.
I'd like to step in here and say factually Ryan's story is wrong. We purchased a vinyl record from Cracker Barrel not too long ago. It is the Moana Disney soundtrack on vinyl.
I just meant the ones that they play. Would play.
They have a lot of current music, actually. He's wrong.
Yeah, the Moana soundtrack for a film that came out several years ago.
No, they have a lot of other albums. Thank you.
All right. Joe, since you've already jumped in here, why don't you tell us a little bit about the music at the Chili's?
All right, so it'd be really easy to say, I'm just going to let you pick the songs you want to pick and bring the records you want to break and whatever. That's fine. That's, you want to pander to the judge. That's okay. I'm going to try to step out here and be bold. When we think of Chili's, I think of the early 2000s. I feel like that was when its fame, it was rise, the vine. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs.
Chili's, baby back ribs.
So Chili's, your wedding planner that comes with each Chili's restaurant wedding, is going to build you a wonderful playlist full of the most popular rock, rap, and pop song from the 2000s. So you may hear some Backstreet Boys, some NSYNC, maybe
some Rick Ross, some Wiz
Rick
Khalifa.
Ross, Ja Rule, maybe in there a little bit, some Usher. You may get some slow jam, some up-tempo stuff, Black Eyed Peas, all that. All that's coming. But it'll be a hand-tailored, a hand-selected playlist of the top hits of the 2000s.
I like that.
So is it exactly what you want? No. But is it something?
But it's exactly what would be played in a Chili's. So it is
the
on
vibe that you'd want, and it would still be music tailored to your likes. So there would be Franz Ferdinand on there. The one song they had that was good. Some Muse would be on there. There's a lot of good options out there that would fit the motif, fit the feeling, fit the sound of the space. You got to read the room, and that's what we're doing.
I like that. Now, while Joe was talking and made some very valid points that I appreciate, I did Google crackerbarrel.com because I needed to see if I could purchase some vinyl directly from them online. And folks, let me tell you, much like the Brookstone, they've got a full online store here. And let me just read you some of the categories that you can shop from.
Before you read that, I also Googled Cracker Barrel a second ago. Did you know you can trade Cracker Barrel on the New York Stock Exchange? I am not even kidding. It is traded as CBRL. If you want to go,
what's that stock at right now?
It's not doing great. If you look at my screen here, I don't know if you can see all the red arrows. Yeah, all the equity has gone down by a lot.
What do we have a current price there?
Let me go.
Because what I'm thinking is once this episode comes out, depending on how this turns out for Cracker Barrel, it could get the TMIW bump.
Year to date, let's look at the last 6 months. It's actually up over the last 6 months.
Fascinating.
But right now it's at $155.
What?
That's pretty high for a share. I did not expect it to be $155.
I didn't either.
All right. Well, we will track it. This is going to be a recurring segment from here on out. We will track the Cracker Barrel stock price and watch it rise as we talk about them. Now, the speaking of Cracker Barrel in stock, the one way you can support them is buying their stuff. And so on their website, you can choose between categories such as home and furniture, which, as you imagine, you can purchase their iconic rocking chairs, both in an indoor and outdoor variety.
Those are good chairs.
I got a question. Is there an adult/mature section?
There's not. However, the Cracker Barrel near my home has a Hustler Hollywood right in front of it. So
It does.
It basically does. Clothing and accessories, of course. We got food and candy, so you can go and buy some hard candies like you're a 95-year-old man. We have toys and games. This includes all the classics that you love. Personal care. Do you want some moisturizer? Do you want some deodorant from the Cracker Barrel? Well, fellas, let me tell you what. You can go buy that from them. We got music, movies, and books, and the music that they are featuring currently is a Willie Nelson album, which I don't think is new. We have holidays, collections, sell, and my absolute favorite, military.
I mean,
Just military.
You could just buy a military.
Yeah. So if you need to get
the Cracker Barrel Navy is coming for you.
Yeah, if you need a contracted army, Cracker Barrel's got you. And I'm not going to read through all these, but if you just go and look at the collection section, we've got coastal, nautical, summer fun, Costa Rica.
I know there's a farmhouse.
Ranch. I don't see anything that specifically says farmhouse, but there is one called Oh Gussie that looks to be farmhouse.
I think Cracker Barrel might be a new topic we come back to.
Yeah, we might need to come back to this one. So we got our music. Ryan's going to have some vinyl records for me, which I love, and Joe's going to be playing the music of my heyday from the 2000s. So beyond the music, I think the most important thing that comes from these restaurants and for any wedding reception is the food. You got to serve good food. So Ryan, what are we serving at the Cracker Barrel on the buffet?
So when we first talked about this being a buffet, I actually had tears come to my eyes thinking about the number of carbs that I would be able to enjoy at a wedding that happened at Cracker Barrel. Because we are talking biscuits and gravy. We're talking mama's pancake breakfast. We're talking bacon. We're talking eggs. We're talking...
So we're going for a breakfast wedding.
This is a full, all the breakfast you can eat.
At Cracker Barrel, you can get both.
Exactly. But for this occasion, I cannot imagine anything better than a full spread of Cracker Barrel breakfast.
Now, a very specific question. Will there be hash brown casserole?
Absolutely. You cannot go to Cracker Barrel and not eat hash browns.
My man. All right, Joe. What are they serving at the Chili's?
When it comes to weddings, there's two types. There's finger foods and there's meals. The good news is Chili's can offer both of those. You can get a fantastic variety of apps such as the Skillet Skillet queso, fresh guacamole, bone-in, boneless wing, not to mention the loaded boneless wings, which I didn't know was a thing, but I may go to Chili's just for loaded boneless wings.
What's on the loaded boneless wings?
It's like a platter of wings, and it's almost like cheese fries, like covered in sauce and cheese and all this.
Excuse me?
And I'm like, I'm here for it, you all. I want to go to Chili's.
That's not even like a real life food item. Nope. Like that doesn't make any sense. But I want it,
awesome.
and I want it. Nachos, fried pickles, and cheese bites, which I know Josh likes some fried pickles. And last but not least, we cannot forget the Awesome Blossom. And at your wedding, they would definitely side it with an extra side of awesome.
Of course,
heavy on the awesome. Now hold on. Hold on.
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
Chili's also has the unique variety of being able to offer you foods from across the world. You can visit down south and have tacos, quesadillas, fajitas. You can get that sense of Americana by having burgers, sandwiches, steaks. You can get other places by getting like Cajun pasta and grilled chicken and fish.
Mm-hmm. You probably got some Asian salad in there.
Probably. They got some salads.
For sure.
And then if you have a big family, they got some awesome party platters you can go for. Big Mouth bites, Southwestern egg rolls, salad, fajitas, wings, ribs. And you can't go to a wedding if you don't discuss the desserts. You go to weddings for cakes and pies and ice cream and everything else. So why would you not want to have some molten chocolate cake, skillet chocolate chip cookies, or even their wonderfully decadent cheesecake?
When I think Chili's, I think decadent cheesecake.
Well,
that's for
you
sure.
should. They're known for their signature margaritas. They actually have a margarita of the month, which I know you also are a partaker of margaritas. If you got some family friends, maybe that trashy aunt of yours that wants to be like she's at the beach, they got her ready for it with a Captain Castaway or some wonderful Long Island iced teas. And for all your family from the down south, they got a nice Texas peach lemonade that just hits the spot every time to remind you of down home. So when it comes to food, Chili's has every aspect covered and ready for you.
Okay, so we've got our music, we've got our food. Now, the next most important thing I need to know from my wedding planner is, how are they going to handle this crowd? I know Cracker Barrel lets you shop around the store and, preoccupies you. Chili's, I don't know, kicks you in the nuts and says you'll eat whenever you get to. So how do they handle large parties, and how can we make this the best event possible? Ryan, what's Cracker Barrel going to do for us?
I feel like I've made this point already, but I will reiterate. We have activities. We have space. We have rocking chairs. We also have just the fact that it accommodates where you can move the tables together. It's not a set booth or anything like that. You can always rearrange. I feel like Cracker Barrel speaks for itself in this scenario.
You can customize it. There's plenty of room. It's a massive restaurant, lots of parking.
Exactly.
You can even park your RV out back.
Right. And it's
Great
usually
place.
next to a gas station. So
yeah. And a Hustler Hollywood. So we got everything we need. Now, Joe, how about Chili's? How are they handling a large party?
Well, going back on what I said earlier, we've seen how the track record, we've seen history has shown us that Chili's is able to handle large parties at these corporate type events. They are able to set up for an award show. I mean, a wedding, yeah, but they were able to handle a large award show that is surrounded by elegance and just the most pristine and wonderful people over. So what I'm talking about is the Dundies. That's right. They were able to handle the Dundies. And what I saw watching that is Chili's is set up to handle and work that crowd. They made sure everyone's drinks were full. Everyone was happy. Everyone got their food. That they did let one person sneak in and have a bit too much. And you're going to have that at weddings. You're going to have an aunt, you're going to have an uncle, you're going to have a cousin who just doesn't know how to control themselves, and they're going to overindulge. And that happens. But the good news is Chili's has set up repercussions for that, which ultimately comes in a lifetime ban that they take a picture of you and fax it to every other Chili's across the nation, stating you're banned. You're no longer welcome in Chili's.
Sounds like a blessing in disguise to me.
do you think they have like a flip book of all the people that have been banned, like at every Chili's?
I like to think it's on the wall. Like as you walk in, like Beat Ups has that wall of like the people who did the Blazing Challenge.
Yeah.
Chili's has the wall of ban. So Chili's, I do think, is set up to handle this large corporate event and to patrol it, to police it, and to make sure you have no, because that's the last thing you want to worry about on your wedding day is, oh gosh, Aunt Clarice is just acting a fool again. Her and Uncle Claude, they just get wild on the weekends at the Chili's. So you don't have to worry about that here. You don't have to worry about it.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the most important part, which is I need you to make your final pitch for me as my wedding planner on how we are going to run this event from top to bottom and make it the best wedding possible. So, Ryan, I am seated at a coffee shop across from you. We're having a nice meeting with me and my beloved Erica, and you get to explain to us how you are going to make our day flawless.
All right. So we're sitting across from each other at this coffee shop, and I'm about to pitch this to you. And being the very smart wedding planner that I am, I'm not pitching to you. I'm pitching to Erica.
Smart man.
And I think that's something that has been missed.
Actually, you know what? I think this is a good point. Give me just a minute.
No.
I shouldn't be deciding this. I'll be right back.
I regret everything.
Well, this just took a turn.
Yeah. All right.
Why is Josh not wearing pants? The best part is we can say whatever we want right now, and he has no way to stop
That's
it.
true.
He's just going to hear it on the recording later, and we'll decide if he keeps it or not.
Pee pee poo poo.
It was really strange when he got up just wearing a Speedo.
Yeah, the hairy butt was really what threw me off. I think we need to shave him like we shaved Perry. That might be a bachelor party situation.
Oh, gosh. Bachelor party. I thought I was done with bachelor parties.
Oh,
there
man.
she is. The best
Here we
part is
go.
he only has one set of headphones, so are we just going to pitch to her?
I guess so.
Is he not even going to
Y'all
come here
still
and finish the
recording?
episode?
Yes, we are still recording.
Erica, I've got to ask, why is Josh just recording the podcast in a Speedo?
Okay, we're back. Now,
He can't hear
since,
us,
like
so-
I
He has
said,
no idea
Ryan
we
made a
just
good
said that
point,
either.
that he's not pitching to me. He's pitching to Erica. And so I thought it was only fitting to bring her in here. And she gets to pick the winner for this one.
Oh,
So,
snap.
Ryan, why don't you pitch to Erica, my beloved Erica, what your plan for our wedding is?
The best part is everything we've said in the past about
Yep.
reason why these restaurants would be good are
All right, Erica. So you come in not hearing the last hour and 30 seconds of debate that we've just had. So I have 2 minutes. Here we go.
Great. I was wondering what could be so urgent that I was interrupted on my Peloton ride.
Oh, interrupted the Peloton. Not a good move, fiance.
No.
All right. Well, so we are pitching the reception for your wedding, and we have been limited to American chain restaurants. So Joe and
My
I
favorite.
Exactly. Joe and I have chosen some significant locations and are going to try to pitch those to you, starting with me. So my chosen location was Cracker Barrel, and this is for a number of reasons. One, as I'm sure you know, there is some emotional attachment to the Cracker Barrel in your relationship.
More on my part even, so that's good to know.
Exactly. And so I felt that this was really the place where we could cultivate the right vibe. You've got the rocking chairs outside where everybody can wait before the ceremony. You already have a built-in aisle that goes right down to the fireplace, which is where the ceremony will take place. You have the cocktail hour that will be happening in the Old Country store. So people will have, plenty of time to mingle, maybe get a little bit tipsy and buy some random items. Basically, we're just trying to cultivate that cozy vibe in the Cracker Barrel. So during the ceremony, we will have, everything cleared out in the main, eating area right in front of the fire. You'll have, the giant hearth will be there for this. I was picturing a winter wedding. So you've got all of that. You've got, after the ceremony, for the in-between time, you have the peg game that people can play. You also have the checkers, where you might have a rocking chair checkers tournament while the meal is going on. So basically the way that I was trying to go was cultivating kind of a homey, cozy vibe where everybody can feel at home. There's going to be a buffet of Cracker Barrel breakfast foods, followed by an apple crumble for dessert, and many of the wintry, fall-themed cocktails that will be accompanying. So that is my pitch for the Cracker Barrel. I'm going to pass it over to Joe.
I chose to go with Chili's, the small business workplace of America. That's where real meetings happen. I'm just going to lay out the timeline. First off, we are not meeting at a coffee house. Why would we do that? I'm bringing you to the venue. We are meeting at Chili's.
He was talking about me and you guys, like for the meeting to
I understand
pitch
that,
the location.
and I'm still saying we're not meeting at a coffee house. We're
Okay,
meeting at
whatever.
Chili's. While we were going to the meeting, you're going to get to sample all the food that Chili's offers for the wedding.
So offering
all
the
your
tasting with it,
appetizers
okay.
will bringing out. We'll bring out desserts. We'll bring out entrees. So as we're going over those plans, you are sampling and tasting every possible food you would want, and you could decide then and there what you like. We'll have drinks available for tasting. Some of our perfect margaritas of the month, the Long Island iced teas. It's going to be it's a fun social experience, because that's what Chili's really is. It's a fun social experience. The way this works is When people think of weddings, they think of receptions. We don't want that. We want to think of your ceremony. So you were going to get married in the parking lot in front of the giant chili, because no one else in the world can ever say that happened. Everyone says, hey, we got married in this church. We got married in this barn. Screw that. What happened to you? We got married in front of a giant chili. Everyone's going to ask, I've got to hear that story. You got to tell me. So we've already made it memorable for you. We're going to come inside. We got some music going. You know, Chili's is the heart of the early 2000s. So we have a strict playlist built only off pop, rock, and rap songs from the decade of the 2000s. So you're going to hear some pop songs like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, but you're also going to hear some Ja Rule. You'll hear some... I'm trying to think here what else it could be. We'll have some country sprinkled in there, early 2000s country, you know, some Tim McGraw, stuff like that. So this is going to give you the option to let your guests mingle, finish your photos, whatever you need to do. The bar will be open. We'll have margaritas aplenty. We'll have long iced teas, the southern peach tea lemonade for your friends from the south. Moving straight in. You've got your food set up with appetizers such as queso, guac. You've got the boneless wings, bone-in wings, and we cannot forget the awesome blossoms with extra sides of awesome. You get to move into your venue. You get to have your entree, your meal, whether that's burgers from America, tacos. You can have steaks, whatever you want. We have the option to offer you anything. Yeah, we don't have breakfast, but you know what? We've got everything else. It's all made, not great, but it's all really good and enjoyable. And that's what your wedding is all about. Really good, enjoyable overall experience. The experience that Chili's is trying to give you is everything is just built around you and what you want. Your guest is going to be able to come in. We'll set up some karaoke in the corner by the bar. You have the booth area to the side where you can sit and talk and have family meet who are out of town and want to get to know each other and catch up. So basically, that's the flow of the wedding. We'll send you out that night. We're throwing onion petals. We're not throwing rice. We're not throwing confetti. We're throwing onion petals. Because why wouldn't we? We're Chili's home of the awesome blossom. That's how it goes. You also get sent out by an all-male singing quartetment singing the Baby Back Rib song as you exit the building.
That's impressive.
That's a wedding at Chili's.
So am I allowed to ask questions?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You can do whatever you want because Josh is gone. So
thank God.
You're hosting this podcast.
Finally, Ron, question number 1. Are chicken and dumplings involved?
It was not originally a part of my theme, but I know that you might be a chicken and dumplings kind of person, so that can definitely be something that we arrange. This is a meeting after all.
Mm-hmm. Joe.
Yes, ma'am.
Can the wedding be officiated by the giant chili?
We're here to serve you in any capacity we want to, so we can definitely work that out for you. Have it done. The giant chili.
I think we can get an ordained chili.
Yeah, I mean, you could do whatever you want online at this point, so we can definitely ordain a chili. It's 2021.
Yeah.
Really open our minds.
Let's get an ordained chili.
The music is also really important to me and to Josh, of course. So, Ryan, what sort of playlist is it? Are we talking exclusively Alan Jackson, or can I get some Backstreet Boys in there too?
We did discuss this earlier, but what we came to the conclusion of was there will be hand-picked records playing on vinyl because that's the kind of vibe we're trying to cultivate in the Cracker Barrel.
Yes, we did say they were hand-picked. Ryan, if you remind me, who said they would hand-pick and curate that list? Who would decide what gets to play on the list?
Josh.
That's what I said. Josh, not you, Erica. Josh gets to pick the record. That's because he was
on the podcast earlier.
Right, but I think in real life...
You can't twist that now.
Josh is
I can say the same thing to you.
No, but I'm saying in real life, I think Josh still plans to be the sole person to pick the record collection that they plays at the wedding. This is not even a stab at you. I'm saying Josh plans to pick the wedding music on his own.
And actually, he was really adamant about that.
Oh, trust me, I know. Don't worry, I get everything else. It's fine.
He literally said no one else has input on this but me.
No one else has any taste, were his words.
Not no one else. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, no one.
And Joe, similar question. I love the 2000s pop rock and rap. Can I get Brooks and Dunn's Neon Moon on?
Oh,
I even said we'll sprinkle in some 2000s country because that besides the 90s country, 2000s is by far the best. So
this
you're
is
talking
true.
some Tim McGraw, early Carrie Underwood. Let's see, early Blake Shelton, some Old Red, some early Toby Keith when he had a mullet, and that was really good. So yeah, you're gonna get some sprinkled in country there. Yeah, for sure. Brooks and Dunn.
Wonderful.
Brooks and Dunn, even if there's not country on there, will probably be on that playlist because Brooks and Dunn is that good. They transcend all music.
Montgomery Gentry.
Oh, Montgomery Gentry. Great. You got to play Montgomery Gentry.
A real one. Local. Okay. I think I have enough to make my decision.
Here we go.
Do I get to do the whole deliberating thing? Am I going to get the music behind me?
You're the bride. You get to do whatever you want.
So this is a really hard thing to come to. You know, a lot of thought is going into this. There are so many good options on either side. Ryan with the vibes that match my heritage, match my culture, and with a special sentimental attachment to it that I'll forever cherish. And Joe's got the Chili's. Joe has the vibes with a capital V. There's margaritas, which are my favorite. There are probably appies and wings, quesadillas, that kind of thing if I had to guess. And a big wide variety and seemingly a willingness to do pretty much anything I ask them to. On both sides, but Joe seems particularly to want this more. But Ryan made some good points, but I think I ultimately have to go with the Chili's.
Yes! Vibes.
It's a mistake, but I guess I understand it.
I gotta have a margarita. I gotta have my baby back ribs and my baby back in the office with me.
Listen, you're going to be regretting that when you're eating those microwaved wings, and you could be having Mama's pancake breakfast.
Yeah, but did you know that Chili's has loaded boneless wings that come with melted cheese on the top, extra sauce, ranch, and chives?
And there's not a real ingredient in sight.
If I have enough of the margaritas, it doesn't matter what it tastes like.
That is a good point. That is a good point.
It does feel good. Ryan, I hope I haven't ruined any other streaks that you have. I know we've been bad for doing that lately.
Honestly, I've been on a little bit of a downturn, Josh. I mean, I think Joe is maybe tied with me now. We're close for sure, but it's okay. It was a well fought battle, even though you didn't hear any of the debate.
I didn't hear any of it, so I really feel like I made the most informed decision possibly.
Josh
possible.
was like, "I understand you all did all that work, but I just don't care."
Yeah,
and
much. It's really just about Josh's laziness is really what
it's
we're
also
trying to
how real
focus.
wedding planning is going too.
Well, he did.
That's actually why we did this.
He literally said, "I will be the one to choose all the music," and I remember thinking, I think Erica's probably going to have one, but then I was like, he's not going to let her even do any input on this.
We all know who the neck that turns the head is. It's all good.
All right, I think that's going to do it for us. I think we've been here long enough, and I've suffered enough embarrassment. So I want to thank everybody for listening. I also want to thank Isle of 8 for the use of our theme song, Jean Jacket. You can check them out anywhere you find great music, and they would be a banger to be walking down the aisle to.
Yeah, and just to springboard off that, make sure you go find us on our social medias. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at TMIWpod. Right now, while you're finishing this up and before you plan any wedding details for yourself, go over to iTunes, Spotify, whatever you are listening on, and rate and review us 5 stars, please. And if you are not subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. You will not regret it. We are helping you out with weddings, funerals, and everything in between in life. So we've got you from the beginning and the end.
And while you're online, go ahead and try and find the website, tmiwpod.com, and check out everything that you can see, like old episodes, blog posts, pictures of my wonderful fiance and his 2 bros. And while you're on there, you might also be able to find a link to our wedding registry that is exclusively gift cards to Chili's 2 in Chicago O'Hare. There's only one place we can use them. He's promised me to go, and we've still not gone, so whatever. But go follow his podcast. Go follow all the websites and social medias.
And you can check out Erica's new show as soon as we get her to make it. Thanks, everybody, for listening. As always, there is one winner, but we're all losers. Later, losers.
See ya.
Chili's, a baby back ribs, and a barbecue sauce.